What if everything you thought you knew about what makes an education system truly world-class was completely, fundamentally wrong? What if
Hmm.
the real secret wasn't about inherited wealth or some, perfect nation, but something forged in hardship and, well, collective will?
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take your sources, and today it's a really fascinating look into Finland's education system, and we pull out the most important bits of knowledge, the surprising insights that, really stick with you.
Yeah, our mission today is to slice through some, frankly, persistent myths
Yeah.
and get right to the core of why Finland's education system consistently ranks among the best globally.
Right.
We're going to unearth facts and stories that don't just surprise you, but
Mhm.
genuinely make you rethink what's possible.
Because so often when people talk about Finland's education, this sort of pioneering system,
Yeah,
there's this assumption underneath it all.
that they're just rich.
Exactly, that it's simply a rich, naturally perfect nation that
Hmm.
somehow always got it right. But what the material you've provided shows is, well, a far more compelling and honestly inspiring story.
Yeah,
One rooted deep in hardship, incredibly strategic choices, and a unique kind of societal contract that's been built over time.
totally. Get ready, everyone, because we're going to unpack a history that isn't about some effortless inherited perfection. It's a conscious, often difficult journey.
A real transformation.
Yeah, a nation turning itself from a poor, war-torn agricultural society into this modern industrial powerhouse. And it's
Mhm.
all built on a foundation of surprising social innovation and this unwavering focus on human potential. It really is quite something.
Mhm.
So, okay, let's immediately debunk this idea of Finland as some ancient, inherently perfect place.
A good place to start.
Because I was really struck by this. Finland, as a republic, is actually just over a century old, gained full independence in 1917.
Right, 1917. Before that, centuries under Sweden, then another 100 years or so as the Grand Duchy under Russia. So modern Finland was, in a very real sense, built anew.
That's such a crucial starting point, isn't it?
It really is.
Because it just challenges that whole notion that wealth somehow pre-existed their educational success.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is how Finland, despite this really difficult past and its agricultural roots, deliberately transformed itself, became a heavy industry powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. They produce everything from nuclear power gear and icebreakers to massive paper machinery.
Cone elevators, Kalmar port
Right.
cranes.
Things you see globally. This wasn't a given. It was a deliberate, pretty arduous shift.
And all this happened in the shadow of immense conflict.
Yeah, the sources mentioned numerous wars, the Winter War, even a civil war, territorial losses, significant casualties.
A really tough beginning.
And what surprised me is that so many of their famous social welfare policies, the ones we admire today, were actually established during these periods of scarcity, during conflict.
Not afterwards when they were rich.
Exactly, not once they achieved abundance. It really flies in the face of that idea that you need to be wealthy first before you invest in your people.
It absolutely does. It speaks to this incredible pragmatism, almost a we must build despite everything kind of mentality.
Hmm.
And this pragmatic approach, it wasn't just in policy. Even their very form of government has a surprisingly practical, almost accidental origin story.
Oh, yeah.
There's this unverified, kind of amusing legend that Finland became a republic partly because the chosen monarch just didn't arrive on time. His train was late.
No way. So not exactly the grand ceremonial start you might expect for a republic, eh?
Not quite.
More like a, well, the train's late, guess we'll just get on with it kind of independence.
Pretty much. That anecdote really hammers home how their journey was shaped by practicality, not some lofty preordained idealism.
Okay, so if Finland wasn't born rich and they were constantly battling adversity, what sparked this incredible commitment? This focus on education and social welfare?
Yeah, where did that come from?
The answers, surprisingly, aren't really in some grand policy document initially. It's something far more public and, well, unexpected.
You're talking about the Miss World and Olympics moment, 1952.
Exactly. Finland simultaneously won the Miss World pageant and hosted the Summer Olympics in Helsinki.
Which is quite a double header.
Right. And this wasn't just about national pride, apparently. It was Finland's pragmatic realization, okay, to have a real presence on the world stage, we need high-quality, efficient people.
Mm-hmm. It fundamentally redefined national security, global standing, as an investment in human capital. That's a concept many nations only really consider when they're already prosperous.
That's a powerful insight.
Yeah.
And some of their most iconic policies, like the famous baby box, actually started even earlier, 1938. right during wartime.
Incredible timing.
Initially, it was purely practical. A sturdy cardboard box designed as a safe portable cot for babies during, social stress, potential displacement. Imagine that.
Something so iconic, born out of sheer necessity in a crisis.
Yeah. And this really practical thing evolved into the comprehensive welfare package mothers get today.
It's incredibly detailed. The material mentions it even includes like a thermometer for baby bath water.
Wow.
What's truly remarkable is the emphasis on choice and, crucially, absolute equality. Mothers can choose the box or cash,
Oh, okay.
but the box's value is higher. And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
Everyone gets the same box. The president's wife, everyone. It's a powerful symbol of a system without those two tiers of benefits.
That really is powerful. And beyond the box itself, the policy also deliberately doesn't include baby formula.
Right, promoting breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Which is then supported by extensive maternity leave, home visits from nurses. It's a whole system.
It's truly holistic. Comprehensive care from pregnancy right through those crucial early years. Not just a box, like you said, it's a whole support structure.
Absolutely. And another key policy, free school lunches, also began during World War II, 1943.
Again, during the war.
Yeah. Initially, just simple hot soup. But this had two huge effects. First, essential warmth and nourishment in a notoriously cold climate. It instantly made school a safe and warm place.
Makes sense.
And second, this policy became a fundamental starting point for education reform. It promoted radical equality. All students are equal, regardless of background.
Before they even got to curriculum, it was about that shared basic experience, a level playing field for every single kid walking in the door.
Exactly. And if we connect this broader picture, these policies really speak to some deep-seated cultural values, things that actually predate modern Finland.
Like what?
Well, the harsh Finnish climate, 6 months of darkness and cold, it naturally fostered this culture of simplicity, directness, and really meticulous long-term planning.
You had to plan ahead.
You absolutely had to. This sort of no-nonsense approach, you can see it reflected in their policies.
It's interesting, too, that despite being so highly industrialized, Finns still maintain this profound connection to nature.
Very true. It shapes their way of life, permeates their values in a really authentic way.
And get this. The groundwork for widespread basic education was inadvertently laid by, wait for it, early Lutheran Protestantism.
Really? How so?
It mandated literacy, reading, and writing as a requirement for marriage.
Wow. You couldn't get married unless you could read and write.
Apparently. Imagine that.
Yeah.
It truly set the stage for basic education long before formal schooling was universal.
That's fascinating. And this idea of equality seems deeply rooted, too, especially gender equality.
Yeah, the sources say it has surprisingly deep historical roots back to the 1800s. Travelers back then observed women working construction, men managing households. Pretty uncommon for the era.
Legally, too. Inheritance laws were equal for both sexes, unlike many other places at the time.
And here's something you might not expect. The Finnish language itself. It has no gendered pronouns like he or she. And it generally avoids terms that signal social status. You call professors by their first name.
So that linguistic equality, it naturally fosters a sense of inherent equality in just daily interactions. It's baked into how they communicate.
Yeah. And this inherent equality seemed to extend to their politics, which, honestly, reading about it, seemed almost miraculous.
How so?
Finland's multi-party coalition governments, often including Center, Social Democrats, even communists, they managed to forge strong, lasting consensus on core issues like free education.
Despite political differences.
Exactly. It shows this remarkable commitment to collective national goals over just, partisan fighting, something many countries could probably learn from.
And this collective spirit gets reinforced by a really vibrant civil society. Finland has hundreds of thousands of registered clubs, associations.
Everything from K-pop fan clubs to powerful labor unions.
Right. And the government actively supports them.
Which fosters incredible public dialogue, empathy. The material mentions things like public libraries in former low-income areas, organizing coffee breaks for lonely elderly residents, sponsored by local cafes.
Creating platforms for real connection, community building, not just individual support.
Yeah. And this brings up a big question. Why do Finns trust their government so much?
Good question. The sources suggest it's because they genuinely see it as theirs.
Right. Reinforced by historical transparency, freedom of information laws way back in the 1800s, and a relatively low disparity in income and background.
Which allows diverse people to coexist, learn together, fostering this sense of shared ownership, trust.
Okay, so let's unpack how their education system actually evolved once these foundations were laid. After that pivotal 1952 Olympics moment,
Mm-hmm.
Finland adopted what the forces call a North-first approach.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, unlike many countries that focus on cities first, Finland consciously put its educational efforts into the remote, rural, historically underserved northern regions. A deliberate choice for equality of access right from the start.
That's a significant strategic difference, isn't it? And while those initial reforms were pretty top-down central government setting broad goals like free education,
It didn't stay that way.
no, the system rapidly decentralized. By the 2000s, municipalities, the local governments, they gained significant autonomy.
So local control became a huge pillar. Localities now hire teachers, determine teacher-student ratios, manage their own schools.
Although vocational schools, because they need high-tech, remain centrally managed, but general ed, very local.
And what about the money, financial autonomy?
Yeah, that's important too. Municipalities get central funding, but they manage their own budgets. They can even raise local taxes for specific projects, like, say, funding a lift for a student with disabilities, without needing central approval.
Which is a big contrast to systems where local schools are just waiting for directives from the top, often stuck in bureaucracy.
Exactly. And the teachers.
What I took away is they're incredibly highly respected. Professionals with secure contracts, not civil servants, which is a key distinction.
Mm-hmm. And strong teacher unions, among the biggest in the country, actively protect teacher rights, provide ongoing training.
Ensuring high standards, teacher well-being,
Yeah.
allowing them to just focus on teaching.
And it's important to clarify the pay thing. While Finnish teacher salaries are sufficient, they aren't, like, exorbitantly higher than doctors or lawyers.
Right, it's not about being rich.
No. The starting pay is sufficient.
Yeah.
Enough to live well, build a future, feel secure. That lets them dedicate themselves without that constant financial stress. It's
Right.
about value and security, not just maximizing income.
What really stands out, I think, about the whole system is their philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Learning, not competing.
Yeah, that's huge.
Finnish education actively avoids internal competition, those king or queen classes,
Yeah.
ability-based tracking. The idea is, look, natural human comparison exists, but the system shouldn't crank it up.
Right. Promote intrinsic motivation, a love of learning for its own sake, not just stressful external pressures. It's a completely different mindset.
Whole different ballgame.
And look, Finland, like lots of countries, faced political instability in its education. Ministers didn't last long sometimes. But their deep commitment to tackling bureaucracy, to decentralizing power, that allowed them to overcome those challenges and sustain the reforms long term.
Which ultimately led to those dramatic PISA score improvements in the 2000s. PISA being the Program for International Student Assessment, that big global benchmark.
Exactly. That sustained, pragmatic effort paid off.
So, okay, what does this all mean for you listening? We've really arrived at a fundamental philosophical divide here.
Yeah, this is the core of it.
The core Finnish philosophy, the material makes clear, is, okay, we have limited natural resources, small population. We must develop the highest quality human capital to thrive.
Education is seen as a collective, strategic investment in that national goal.
And so what here is pretty profound, I think.
Yeah. In Finland, quality of life, good education, healthcare, it's seen as a fundamental right.
Not something you earn later.
Right. This leads to a system where work provides a good life because those basic needs are already covered. You work to thrive, not just to survive.
And that stands in really stark contrast to many other systems where a good education is viewed more as a privilege, something you have to fiercely compete for.
Yeah, the underlying idea often is get a good education, then get a good job, make money, and then maybe you can afford a good quality of life.
Which creates a highly competitive, often unequal system.
Mm.
Quality of life isn't a right, it's a reward you have to fight for.
So education really, as a microcosm of society, it reflects this fundamental difference. Is it society working together or just individual competition?
Right. Finland seems to foster a society where people feel valued, supported, empowered to contribute because they know they're part of this larger, interdependent whole.
Ultimately, Finland's success really is a testament to its citizens recognizing their collective power, their agency.
Yeah, when people know they're important and they act together, they can actually own their government, direct it to serve their needs. It's a powerful lesson, seeing the government as ours, not just theirs.
So we've explored how Finland's education system isn't some miracle born of riches or, luck.
Not at all.
It's a meticulously constructed outcome. built from historical hardship, deep cultural values, that hard-won political consensus, and this profound belief in collective responsibility and the inherent equality of everyone.
This deep dive really shows us that a nation's approach to education, it's a direct reflection of its deepest values, its understanding of the social contract.
Mm.
It's about how society views its people.
Hmm.
Is it a competitive battlefield where only the strongest survive, or is it a shared investment in human potential designed to uplift everyone?
Which brings us to a fundamental question for your society, for your community. What does the importance of education truly mean to you?
Yeah.
Is it just a fierce competition for individual advancement? Or is it a shared investment in human development
Yeah.
designed to foster the full potential of every single person for the benefit of everyone?
It's not just a policy debate, is it? It's a conversation about the kind of society we truly want to build.